The Liverpool Reaction, an American LFC podcast, starts now. All right, welcome back, everybody. Salim over here, joined with my co-host, Coach Ralph. Coach, pretty good game, good result. We're back on the winning column, which is nice, but a lot to talk about.
There is, but I think at the end of the day, the big thing is that Liverpool got points on the board, and after the recent dire performances and run, that was obviously always going to be key.
Yeah, Coach. Big talking points. No Mo Salah. He was on the bench but didn't come in. Joe Gomez started at right back and did well. Florian Wirtz, maybe his best game as a Red, and Isak is on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think that those are positives. With regard to the Mo Salah situation, which obviously is the one that's going to grab the headlines, it'll be interesting to see what he does here, the manager.
Coach, you're kind of cutting in and out, and it looks like you might have frozen. But I'll just carry it until you pop back in here. Yeah, essentially with no Mo Salah, coaches. I know he's always interested in seeing how a player would react, and I think that's where he was going with that conversation because Mo Salah is used to being a starter, used to being a key player in the setup, and he was not only omitted from the starting lineup, he did not even get on the field, which Arne Slot did make some changes, and that was not one of them. So kind of interesting. Hey, Coach, I was just kind of going off of what you were saying. You were kind of cutting in and out, essentially, that how Mo Salah would react to being dropped. Interesting to see kind of the next couple of days what that'll look like. Other than that, Gomez being right back, Wirtz and Isak. What else do you have to say about those three things?
Well, Gomez did well, without doubt. I think he was involved. Well, he was involved with the second goal as well. He's a little bit better going forward than I think most people give him credit for. I mean, he's certainly not a Trent or something like that, but he can support, he can knock in a cross, and he also has the ammunition of a long throw if needed. So I think it was a call that was warranted, and the manager made it. So I think Gomez did well. I think Wirtz looked good, particularly in the first half. I don't know what you felt, but in a funny way, I felt Liverpool played much better in the first half than they did in the second.
Yeah. I think once they scored, they kind of paused everything, kind of sat back a little bit more. Coach, it's interesting you mentioned the long throw. When I saw Gomez in the team sheet and starting that, we were definitely going to see one. And oddly enough, the one long throw, maybe there was two, but the one long throw led to our goal. Ball kind of gets cleared haphazardly by West Ham. Wirtz gets it to Gakpo. Gakpo crosses it, and Isak, instinctive finish. I think the fact that he didn't have time to kind of ponder it maybe was to his advantage, and kind of more instinctual kind of finish. Really good finish. And Coach, I think you're right though. Second half after the goal, they kind of really put on the brakes, and Bowen scared the crap out of me there in the 80-something minute when a ball fell to his left foot, and a curler, which you see him hit all the time, but he missed it, and then Gakpo kind of slammed the door shut. So, Coach, the one other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the communication. In the first half, there was visible signs of active communication, which I thought was really encouraging. Did you pick that up also?
Yeah. I mean, like the team seemed very connected, and I thought that they were finding Wirtz a lot because one thing I think, especially early in the season, was people were highlighting that Wirtz really wasn't in the game, but I think lots of it was to do he was making runs and he was getting into positions, but they weren't finding him. I'm not even sure that they were looking for him, to be truthful. But I think it was a different story today, and he was a constant thorn in West Ham's side. He set up a couple of good opportunities, and I think that was definitely, from his perspective, a step in the right direction.
He looked like he was a floating number 10 right behind the striker, whether it was Isak or when Ekatike came on. So it very much looked more 4-4-2-ish. What did you see as far as the way the team set up?
Yeah, I didn't see that so much. I mean, like they had, I think it's his favoured 4-2-3-1 formation. I think it looked more like that with Gravenberch and McAllister in front of the back four, and then you've got Gakpo on one side. He moves Szoboszlai wide, Wirtz in the centre, floating as you say, and then later in the game when he took Wirtz out, then he pushed Szoboszlai into the middle again, which is primarily when he's not been at fullback where he's played.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this might be a tactic that he might use in games against different opponents. So, for example, against a more physical team, maybe he flip-flops Wirtz and Szoboszlai, or he brings Wirtz on. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. As you know, I don't know if you caught my comment earlier when we were having the Gremlins about what he does with Salah. Whether maybe he plays him for Gakpo, for example, on Wednesday when they play Sunderland. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of pan out.
So from a balance standpoint, though, the team was well balanced. Defensively, they were a little bit sharper. Offensively, we talked about Wirtz, Isak scoring, and Gakpo just kind of being a steady player, which I thought was he played really well today. So from a balance standpoint, it felt a lot better. Now, we can't just pin this on Mo, but we've been kind of talking about where is the root cause of all this, and it just kind of felt a lot better today, didn't it?
It did. I think you're right. I don't think you can blame it on one player, but I think Mo Salah was a factor in as much as he's not given as much perhaps as he has in previous seasons offensively, but really doesn't have the wherewithal and the heart to track back and defend. And I mean, for example, against PSV, I thought he did quite well on the ball, but then afterwards, when they're doing the analysis of the game, you could see he was involved in a couple of the goals because he wasn't really getting involved in helping out the team defensively.
Yeah.
So I think obviously that Arne Slot has taken a look at that. And as I think we've said all along the whole season, managing Mo Salah this season is really going to be key. And like we're going into December, aren't we now, as of tomorrow? So like the African Nations Cup is just over a month away. So I think that the task for Arne Slot is basically to manage Mo Salah through until the tournament. And then, of course, when he's away, then it's not a factor anymore. So, yeah, these are going to be times when we really see what Arne Slot is made of when it comes to being a manager. Firstly, through managing his big name players. And then once his star player goes away, how he kind of reshuffles the deck.
Yeah. Another thing that was noticeable was Virgil and Konate, more specifically, safety first. They if they were kind of getting in a weird spot, they would just kick the ball out of bounds, where normally they would try to get it upfield. This tactic is sometimes interesting to me from a standpoint of they're professionals. They should be able to get the ball up and out. But I also understanding that when we get caught out of position, it seems like we're getting punished, that this was a very kind of clear tactic that maybe Arne Slot was saying, hey, listen, if you get in a weird spot, just get it out of bounds. If you feel uncomfortable about it, get it out of bounds. Let us reset, get into our shape, and then defend. Did you pick that up? Oh, looks like we lost Coach again here. But folks, essentially, you kind of saw this throughout the first half and a little bit in the second half. And I think this is just to ensure. Coach, there you are.
Yeah. I'm still having the gremlins here. So.
Yeah. So, Coach, what I was saying was the safety first approach from Van Dijk and Konate, more specifically, getting the ball out of play when they were uncomfortable or under pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at Liverpool's performance as a whole, I think you're correct. After Liverpool scored, I think the commentator said that they went into a shell a little bit, and I think that's fair comment. I think they're showing signs, that they lack a little bit of confidence, maybe after the recent run, which again is understandable. But overall, I don't think they took many chances. I think Kirkesh did better today.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, I think one thing that's interesting from him technically is that when he gets the ball out wide, his first touch oftentimes isn't forward. And if he takes the first touch forward, it brings
All right. Well, Coach is having a couple issues here. No big deal. We will get back to him when he comes to it. I think Kirkes did a good job against Bowen, but Coach has a good point about him, and he's talking about the confidence of the team too, just getting the touch and not going forward and opening it up versus kind of getting the touch and going back to Van Dijk. But overall, I thought he had a much better performance. And, when you have balance, when you have people that are competing for their individual duels. And hey, Coach, sorry, you the last thing we heard kind of before the gremlins pop back in is that you were talking about Kirkes not taking a positive touch forward, and then you kind of were in and out there.
Yeah, I think that just shows that he's lacking a little bit of self-confidence right now. So hopefully, I think he brought Robertson on for like the last few minutes or so, but hopefully he has more confidence. Again, it's going to be interesting to see. I think one area that maybe Arne Slot struggles in is substitutions and rotation. So will he play Robertson against Sunderland, or will he look at it, well, I've got to give Kirkesh another run? I was surprised he started Kirkesh today, to be honest with you, because he had such a poor game against PSV.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess one way that he's looking at it is, well, I've got to give some of these guys time, particularly Isak up front, so that they get the feeling of being in the team. And in the case of Isak, that he got minutes. And he still looks off pace. But as you said earlier, it was a very good finish for the goal. So he may not be in top fitness, in top shape, but old habits die hard. And in fact, the goalie made a brilliant save from him in the first half, because I think some people will look at that chance and go, oh, well, he should have scored because he's close to the goal. But actually, that was quite a difficult opportunity because the ball bounced high.
Yeah.
And so the issue is then, can you get your knee over the ball, keep the ball down, which he did. And you got to credit Areola in the West Ham goal. It was a very good save.
Yeah. That could have been a goal, but like you said, difficult kind of finish there. Coach, the midfield looked a lot better as well, just kind of continuity. They were finding little pockets where they were able to find each other. I'm very hesitant to say we're back or anything like that. But West Ham is kind of a team that's struggling. I guess would be a kind way to say it. But with Nuno as their coach, we know that his style gives us fit. So that was encouraging. I'm curious to think now, just was this West Ham? Was this Liverpool? Probably a mixture of both, but I would have to tilt it 60% Liverpool's performance versus kind of the opponent.
Right. I mean, I saw a couple of West Ham games earlier in the season, and they were really, really struggling. And so Nuno has come into the team. They've had better results of late. And whilst Liverpool maybe edged the first half, I think you saw, that they are a team that's at the lower end of the spectrum. They are better than they were earlier in the season, but they couldn't really create much apart from that late Bowen chance, that you mentioned earlier. And so they do have their limitations, and I think you've got to look at that partly when you evaluate Liverpool's performance overall. So it was a good win. It was a better performance. It was a win on the road. It was a clean sheet in the end. The things that I don't like about Liverpool's play, and I have a feeling quite a few other fans will feel the same, is this very ponderous passing around the back. And I think against better teams, that they're going to get into trouble doing that. They're going to get into trouble because what happens is that they'll let them do it a few times, and then all of a sudden they'll press.
Right.
And it happened once or twice today, but West Ham won the ball, but they weren't really good enough then to take advantage of the situation. So I still feel, I'm not quite sure why they do it, but they do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that can be a weakness against the better teams, and I think we still miss the days under Jurgen Klopp where we just had that continuous, like they're looking to go forward and it's exciting. And so I think that during the bad run, that maybe for a lot of Liverpool supporters, the contrast in style has been heightened because all of a sudden it doesn't look quite so good as it did last season. We weren't getting results all of a sudden. We were last year. Now we're not.
Yeah. Coach, one thing, other than the Bowen chance, I know you're a coach, and obviously you coached me, and you've coached a lot of people. But have you seen a situation in your coaching days where one of your players gets a yellow card and then argues, and clearly wanted to get thrown out of the game, and then gets his second yellow card and gets thrown out? I mean, as a player on the field, as a teammate, you'd have to be furious at that person. But I could imagine from a coaching standpoint what that would feel like and how maddening that would be.
Oh yeah, I can remember. It was quite a key time actually. I had a Greek American player, Chris Vriavas, and when we did a reunion last year, he follows Liverpool, so I don't know if he watches the pod. I know he's on my newsletter list and everything, and he just wouldn't shut up, and he got sent off at a key time for us. And actually, it was after the game had finished, to be fair to Chris, and it was a very controversial winning goal that we conceded, and he just wouldn't shut up. So the referee carded him, and it's not quite the big time. So Chris's punishment was that he had to video the next game. So.
Paquetá a good player. I mean, he was, it was clear once he got the first one, he was not going to stop.
No, he was totally ridiculous, and he just would not shut up. So it was only going to go one way in the end, and he only has himself to blame. But I think the manager, really has to get him and say, look, why? What were you going to accomplish? What were you going to accomplish by doing that? So I think Nuno's the kind of manager that will sort that out, and I think he only misses one game for that, doesn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
So so he'll miss the next game. He'll put somebody else in, and if there's somebody else does well, then maybe Paquetá's out the team. And in a funny way, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the manager wants, because that really teaches the player a lesson.
Yeah. So, Coach, again, just kind of wrapping up this game before we take a quick peek at Sunderland. Salah not being part of the game, Gomez right back, Wirtz floating, playing very well, Isak scoring, a lot of positives. Now, as we kind of look forward to Sunderland, what's there to expect? Sunderland's playing much better than people expected. They're solid defense. They have some good players. What are we looking at as we kind of look forward to Wednesday here?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I watched a bit of their game against Arsenal, so I haven't really seen them play. But what I understand is that they've brought in a lot of athletic, physical players. So I think he'll certainly keep Isak, Wirtz, and Gomez in.
Folks, I don't know if you guys are catching all this. I am getting some gremlins, as Coach likes to talk, likes to say here. So I think essentially here, Coach was talking about kind of keeping the same lineup, and maybe when he pops back on here, we can get him to finish his thought on that. I agree. I think you have a winning formula. You had a decent performance. You kind of got to stick with that same lineup moving forward. Kirk has looked better. The defense looked a little bit more assured. They didn't give up chances to get punished left and right. So all that is positive. So, when Coach pops back on, Sunderland, I believe, is in 4th place currently. So we will see. Hey, there you go, Coach. Okay, Coach. So you were saying Gomez still in, Isak still in, and then you were kind of breaking in and out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, if he feels Sunderland are going to be a physical team. Will he keep Wirtz in the middle, or will he kind of flip-flop him and Dominic Szoboszlai? So it's going to be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what he does, and then of course, the turnaround is the game next weekend against Leeds. So I know that most people are going to look at this and say, well, on paper, these are games that Liverpool should win. But I think that realistically, it was good to get the win today, but they don't look as though they've got a lot of confidence right now. And I think that is partly why they kind of were very conservative after the first goal. So I think definitely from a team perspective, it was a move in the right direction, but hey, if they can get 2 wins this week, then that'll be something that will really raise the confidence of the team. But very much one game at a time, I think, right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think with that, we'll wrap it up today. It was, encouraging performance, and as we look forward to Sunderland, we'll see how that game goes. Coach, are you available on Wednesday?
I believe so. For those of you who don't know, I'm down in South America, so I'll blame the gremlins on South America.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, we'll see you guys on Wednesday after the game, and let's hope that Liverpool can continue to show some fight, some life, and start tacking on some more wins. Good performance today, and we will catch everybody next time. Please feel free to comment on these when we are on our live stream. We will actually be able to see them and be able to talk about them kind of in real time. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, everybody, take care. See you next time.
Bye now.
Coach and I want to take a second to thank everybody for watching on YouTube or whether you're listening via podcast. Please subscribe or follow the show wherever you consume your content. We are looking forward to continuing to bring you the best Liverpool content out there. We'll see you next time.